Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 291 of Unlocked, which is the world's #1 Xbox show. This week, we are talking about Peter Molyneux's comments on Kinect. Marty reviewed Yooka-Laylee, so we're going to talk about that. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is backwards compatible, and we have some news about a new Remedy game. Ryan is sick right now. He's just about to go on holidays. Terrible time to get sick.
Yeah.
But I am Alana Pierce. I'm joined by Marty Sliver and Destin Legary.
Hi, everybody.
Hopefully, Ryan will be back, 2 weeks?
Eventually.
He's out for a little bit, right?
You're out forever too.
Yeah, I am out for 2 weeks.
Destin and I are gonna just drive this one right into the ground. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm going to Celebration this week. Max will also be there. A bunch of our LA teams going there.
Sounds awful.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
yeah.
But people should tune into that. I mean, obviously, aside from the Last Jedi trailer, we're gonna get a big Battlefront 2 reveal that we're gonna be covering.
Did they confirm we're getting a trailer?
Yeah.
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 I mean,
exciting stuff.
I don't know if they've confirmed, but we're getting
seeing
a trailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
So, aside from Star Wars, there's not a ton of Xbox news this week. And we are recording early, so there's probably going to be some amazing news that we will have missed.
Yeah, this is Tuesday
without
afternoon.
tradition.
We usually record Wednesday morning, so if Xbox 4 gets announced, then
Sorry.
we'll probably delete
It
this
will.
episode.
Our bad.
We'll probably delete this episode and record a new one if Xbox 4 gets announced.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah, it seems big enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Marty,
Yes.
you reviewed Yooka-Laylee.
I did.
What did you think?
It was good.
All right, moving on.
Yeah. I gave it a 7.0. You can check out my review on the site. The game's live now, downloadable for $40. I liked it. 7.0 is good on our scale.
Yes.
I think at its best, it is a really charming, colorful, well-designed 3D platformer with a handful of really smart levels, some fun abilities, good writing, and there's moments where it totally reminds you of those classic Rare games like Banjo and DK64, which obviously the team at Playtonic is made up of a ton of ex-Rare people. The soundtrack is by Grant Kirkhope and David Wise,
good.
which are composers from Donkey Kong Country and Banjo and everything. The reason I give it a 7 though is because there's a little bit of a polish issue. Some of the collision detection is bad. Some of the camera, a lot of times, we were playing yesterday for our live stream, and the camera will just get locked in place, and you'll totally lose control over it,
Yeah,
which is...
How are the facial animations?
Facial animations are great.
They're great.
I mean, they're a little
All
weird.
right.
Like, he does a weird licking thing. Yeah.
He does. Yeah, Yuka does a lot of...
Meh,
but he says hey when he does it, so it's like heh,
meh.
heh.
Yeah, pretty good.
He licks a lot of stuff. I'm a little
Yeah.
bit uncomfortable with that.
No, why? That's fine.
Yeah, okay.
It's fine.
All right.
judge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love the soundtrack. I tweeted Grant Kirkhope this morning saying that I think it's one of the best parts of the game. They really nailed the banjo feel on
Yes,
that. And
absolutely.
I didn't even realize how important that was.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, music's obviously one of those things that can make or break an experience or enhance something or really detract from something. But yeah, aside from the camera issues and the collision issues, my main problem is that there are 5 worlds,
Yes.
which doesn't seem like a
Not
lot.
a ton.
It's not a lot. Each one can be expanded upon, though, so you can sort of double the size of each world. But one of the worlds I actively dislike, which is a casino, which is the 4th world.
Yeah.
And so, in theory, 1/5 of the game I find unenjoyable. And then the other levels range from, there's some incredible levels, and then there's some that are just sort of like, fine.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about what specifically in the casino level you didn't like?
Yeah, it just felt, given its source material, which a casino is loud and garish and full of energy and vibrant.
Terrible.
And terrible.
Full of energy?
A lot of
What
cigarettes
casinos
smoke.
do you go to?
I mean, they're full of energy as in like it's a sensory overload.
People drank too much.
Yeah, yeah.
It's mostly people crying.
But this thing is like it feels like an empty
Lost the
casino.
It is,
It
right?
is. Yeah, it's sort of devoid of life, and it's the only world where instead of sort of collecting the pages, which are the jiggies in this game, as you would in a traditional 3D platformer, you have to play a bunch of sort of casino games or mini games and then cash in tokens. And a lot of the mini games are slot machines, which
Get
just
'em while they're young.
aren't- Which is, I mean, but it's just not.
There was one in Skylanders last year as well. There was a casino level. It was good fun.
I mean, a
because it was
lot-
just
One
in
in
the
Sonic
setting.
2 that I played the heck out
The
of.
Sonic 2 Casino.
So
was-
weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's funny that casino is a theme like fire and ice and forest.
It really is.
It's like the only like man-made thing.
Well, it's because it's
Best
so
casino.
recognizable. You see a casino and you know exactly what it is as soon as you see it. And I think translating that into a game level is probably
Sure.
a really easy thing to do.
Yeah, especially because like when you think of like American cities, Las Vegas is far and away one of the most like easily recognizable.
Absolutely.
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
Usually for worse. We have to go to Vegas a lot for work, which is
Fine for a day or two.
it's
It
fine
is.
for a layover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
45 minutes.
A hot layover. Yeah.
But yeah, for the camera issues, I saw some of those yesterday. You were playing on our live stream. That full video is up on youtube.com/IGN. But there was a part where I played actually for our Bit Fight episode. And it's hard to see it Like, it's hard to see a camera issue unless you're the one controlling it. And there were just moments where I would be staring at the ground and I literally couldn't move the camera.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happens.
It locks you in, and it's I don't know. To me, cameras.
Interesting angle.
Yeah, cameras in the 3D era are unsung heroes because the best cameras are the ones you literally never think of. Like if you're not thinking about a camera, it's doing its job.
Absolutely.
The second you have to start thinking about it and it pulls you out of the game, that's when something went wrong.
Yeah.
Where's that award? Best camera.
Yeah, I mean, best camera would just be like we'd say a game, you'd be like, "What? I don't remember the camera in that." You're like, exactly.
And there's too many of those.
Yeah,
like,
right?
There are a lot of them.
Yeah. And so it felt to me like the talent and ideas were there, but it sort of lacked a final first party polish that the Rare games did, and that a Nintendo developed game would, or that something like Ratchet and Clank would.
Yeah. So there are some peripheral things worth mentioning. I've seen a lot of people say it got bad reviews. It didn't. It got very mixed reviews. Jim Sterling gave it a 2 out of 10, and I think said something along the lines of "This is trash," and I don't think anyone
which
should
I don't agree with that.
I don't either, but his criticism was that it is basically a 90s game that didn't adapt to 2017. So
I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that.
No, I just don't think it's as much of a flaw as Jim did.
Yeah.
In that a lot of the systems are really, really similar, including the camera, I suppose.
Yeah, and even like the moves, there's a lot of one-to-one analogs with exact things from Banjo, from the way you fly to double jumps to projectiles to shields. It very much feels like a Banjo remix.
Yeah, and I think that was intentional.
Oh, totally.
So the thing is, comparing it to last year's like Ratchet and Clank, it doesn't hold up well. But as a game that is basically Banjo 3, which is what it's trying to be, I think it does a really good job of that. So I think it does what it intended to really well, and some people are going to hate it, some people are going to love it. So I would recommend it to Banjo fans.
Yeah.
I think that kids would probably still really like it.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I don't know if kids like 3D platformers. Like, I don't know if that's
what do kids like.
I don't know. Like,
Does any of us know?
I mean, yeah.
Where's Ryan?
Child experts
Candy
here.
Crush.
Yeah.
It's like Candy Crush.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're
Minecraft.
going to see if kids like 3D platformers because we're getting Psychonauts. We're getting obviously the Voodoo Vince HD thing that's coming out very soon. Skylar and Flux and Hat in Time, and then Mario at the end of the year. So I feel like this will be a good.
A lot of them this year.
Yeah, this will be a good litmus test for like if these genres.
Pretty sure kids still play Mario.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that.
I really don't know.
Yeah, I don't hang around with a lot of kids, which is probably good.
I think it's just Minecraft mostly.
Yeah?
I think some of them like League of Legends.
Yeah.
Aside from that,
Yeah. The Minecraft thing, I just randomly thought of this. Max was telling me a story about how one of the first games he remembers playing was Tetris, and he didn't understand the rules of Tetris, that you were supposed to clear blocks.
Yeah.
And so he saw the picture of the castle on the front, and so he kept trying to make the castle using the blocks.
wow.
And he's like, I would always lose
That's
because,
kinda
and I
cool.
was like, oh, I don't think I made my castle well enough. And I'm like, oh, you pretty much created Minecraft.
You really did.
Yeah. I was like, good job. Yeah.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
But I was going to say that I think that people who didn't like Banjo won't like this, and I don't know if people who don't. I don't know if I would recommend it to people who don't have the nostalgia unless they are kids.
Yeah, it's one of those, if you're unsure of, if you didn't play Banjo and you're unsure of whether you'd like Banjo or not, I would recommend Rare Replay.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's probably cheaper than
Just
this
in
right
general,
now. And
play Rare Replay.
Oh, and Rare Replay, if someone
A ton of games.
if someone was buying an Xbox tomorrow and said, what should I buy? I'd say that and Sunset Overdrive and Gears in the same breath.
Yeah, and another thing that's worth mentioning is that this was a Kickstarter game. Like, it's so easy to forget that, and we have a lot of failed Kickstarter projects. This one was technically a success.
Yeah.
They delivered on everything that they promised. We still don't have a release date for the Switch, but it came out. I think there was one delay.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay, but I mean, what
It was handled pretty well.
Yeah, and they were super open and communicative with the backers. They released the toy box for the backers, which was really cool. Some of the physical awards are going out are really great. So yeah, I enjoyed this. Totally recommend it to people. If you think you're gonna like Yooka-Laylee, you probably will. If that makes any sense.
You're probably right. Yeah.
And I really hope the game does well and that we see Playtonic go on to, a Yooka 2 maybe and sort of fix on some of the mistakes of this game and really build something special.
Yeah, I also just always want this genre to succeed because it means we get more of it. And, there are people in the chat yesterday when we were live streaming saying they want another Spyro game. Like, I don't know if that happens when Spyro is basically Skylanders' mascot at this point.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say no to a new Spyro game. No. If, this does really well and that's encouragement for another Spyro, that would be super cool.
Yeah.
I guess we'd have to wait and see, though.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next topic, Peter Molyneux was on Unfiltered this week talking to Ryan. He talks about Fable regrets and some truth bombs about Kinect. I'm going to read the quotes here.
Like the Kinect.
Shocking.
Yeah.
So he said, Kinect, I'll be honest with you, it was a disaster. We're talking about Kinect 1.0 here. It started as this device which kind of could do everything itself. It didn't take up any processor power. The field of view could encompass the whole room. The audio on it, which no one really talks about, was originally supposed to be multi-sensing. It could sense where you were. I don't think that actually ended up happening. That's pretty cool, though.
I mean, I think it did in 2, right?
It did in 2, yeah. And then it ended up being none of those things, he said, highlighting how you had to sit in a very limited region for it to work. Its promise was so horrendous. In fact, it reminds me a little bit of VR at the moment, he added.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Yeah. Which is interesting because one of the most, sort of iconic Kinect things that never came out was Project Milo. And that was supposed to be their, like, this is you now have an on-screen child and you have to use Kinect he's like a Tamagotchi, but he's a real boy.
Yeah.
Some people felt weird about it.
Oh yeah, I felt very weird.
Weird.
About it. Yeah. I also just felt weird. Like I am envisioning in my head when Lionhead closed that there was one TV left with Milo on it, and he was like,
guys?
"Please don't turn me off. Please don't." And you literally had to pull the plug on, and he's
R.I.P. Milo.
Sorry, buddy, Milo.
Yeah, rip Milo.
Do you want to play? No, Milo, not today.
This entire interview is super interesting, though. Ryan, Unfiltered, if you guys don't know, is Ryan's one-on-one interview show where he's had.
You can tell he's filming it because he wears fancy shirts to work. He'll be like, "Oh, you doing Unfiltered today?"
And he's shirtless the rest of the day.
Yeah,
He's ripped.
He usually puts on a t-shirt for this. Yeah.
He's basically Wolverine under all those nice shirts.
Well, he's like,
Kinda
he
crazy.
looks like what's his name from Tales from the Borderlands, Vaughn, who when he does take his shirt off is ripped,
Yeah.
which is really weird.
Surprise.
So like,
Ryan's a pretty lean dude. It would be, I think I would find it funny if he just had a sweet six-pack under a shirt that we
Who
didn't
knows?
know about.
Who knows?
He could do.
yeah,
That got very off track.
yeah.
He does not get shirtless on
Yeah.
Unfiltered. But yeah, this is, I think part of it's up
yet.
now, not the whole episode
Yeah,
just
it
yet.
goes up. Piecemeal.
But I wanted to ask, did either of you have Kinect 1.0?
Yeah.
Did you use it much?
Not really. The dancing stuff, I think.
That's all I bought it
bit.
for.
Yeah.
And
Dance Central was really good.
I still found it a little buggy, but
That was the harmonics one, right?
I just mean it was fun.
Yeah,
It was fun to
harmonics
play.
Yeah.
developed. Yeah.
yes. But I've mentioned it a million times on the show before that I really like Kinect 2.0 and used it all the time. And one of the biggest differences between the two of them, I mean, aside from Kinect 1.0 not functioning the way that you wanted it to.
Is 2.0 the one on the one, or did they
Yeah,
do
Yeah.
a
yeah.
separate
There was only
Yeah.
there was the
Missed.
360 version, and then there was the Xbox
Okay,
One.
just
Yeah.
making sure there wasn't like some middle
No, no.
version.
No,
Yeah.
no. So in Australia on Kinect 1.0, to get it to pick up your voice, you would have to speak in an American accent. It's like they didn't have enough test groups. And I was talking to them about this.
I'll have a hamburger.
Yeah, well, I would.
Howdy,
hamburger. Howdy. I was talking to them about, Xbox Australia about this when 2.0 came out. And they basically had to get people's families to come in because they didn't have enough Australian voices and they didn't have enough female voices.
Really funny.
So they would have to bring people in so that they could basically teach Kinect what Australians
Yeah.
sounded like. And it was really funny at parties if we would be trying to play a dance game on Kinect 1.0 and everyone would be like, Dance Central.
We'd like to listen to Neo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I'll
pretty great.
use my credit card. That's my.
But I think
favorite
I only
South
used it like 5 times and then almost never again.
Did you ever review a Kinect game?
I don't think so.
So I reviewed the only times I used
Oh,
Kinect
God.
1.0 were 2 games I reviewed, and it was Fable the Journey, which
Yike.
wasn't good, and then Gunstringer, which I still say is the best Kinect game.
Really?
Yeah.
What about that one that came out
Marty,
recently?
I had to play the Star Wars game,
Oh,
and it was
that's not
the
good.
whole game,
Yeah.
and it's literally just jump.
Yeah.
Was it good
Jump.
exercise at least?
Yeah, I was definitely sweaty afterwards.
Man,
Did
that's
you ever,
not fun.
Did you ever play Gunstringer?
No.
It was by Twisted Pixel. So the whole thing was like it was like an endless runner western, but you were a marionette, and so you as the player were controlling the puppet,
Oh, cool.
and you would like move with your fingers
So you could
and then
sit down?
shoot with. Yeah, you could totally sit down. The problem was I had to play it in my bedroom, which was really small at the time, and the only way I could get enough room and enough distance between me and my TV was to literally play it in my closet. And so like I had to open my closet, move my clothes, and then sit in my closet playing it. And I remember my girlfriend coming home at the time being like, "What's going on now?" It was like one of the first games I reviewed
Is this
at,
a new thing we're
at
trying?
One Up. I was like, "Is this
That's
it? Is this
ridiculous.
what I'm doing now?"
Yeah. Well, the Xbox One Kinect has such a big range. Like, you can see what the camera actually picks up when you
Yeah.
want to scan a QR code or whatever. And my parents actually Skyped me on Christmas from my living room, and the Kinect is on the floor in that room, And I guess they're not great with technology, so it was like 50% carpet and then like half of my parents, like not their heads.
I mean,
so it's
that's-
like, guys, come on.
Yeah, if I ever like FaceTime my parents, it's always like, yep, that's your jaw. Your jaw
Oh,
looks
if it's
great.
my grandma, it's like her. She's very close. I can only see her forehead and just nothing else of her face. It's like, damn it, now.
Turn your camera off.
Damn it.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to be talking about Kinect too much in the future, given that Xbox
No.
One
It was
doesn't come
in-
with it anymore, and that I think they said
Scorpio is not.
Scorpio doesn't have. Well,
Yeah.
it'll support it, but it doesn't have like the exact. You
So
would
you
need
need
an
the
adapter.
adapter.
I took mine out and put it in storage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a sad day.
I like using it, but now that we have Cortana on Xbox One, you can control everything through that. It was only the voice commands that I
Sure,
liked. I
yeah.
love Xbox One, Xbox off. Sorry if everyone just had their consoles turned off. I love that so much. I know it's such a small thing, but it really
It
appeals.
shows used to
you
do that during
remember-
the show. He would purposely say Xbox.
Xbox on.
You guys remember when the Kinect was in Paranormal Activity? And the spooky
No.
ghosts? And
No.
they used it to like sense the ghosts or something.
Really?
I
And
bet
it was
that
like a
single
marketing
I bet
tie-in.
that single-handedly paid for that movie is whatever Microsoft gave them to put
For the
Kinect in
Kinect?
there. Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
one was that?
Oh, I think it was 4.
They have
Yeah.
too many of
It was
them.
either
Yeah.
2 or 4 because 3 was in the past.
Man,
Yeah.
that's crazy
was
cool.
4 then, yeah.
There's also just like a bunch of interesting Kinect stories. Like one of them was that it can tell if you're dead. And this was totally
What? Was
it
it
can
body
tell
heat?
if
I forgot.
no
Body heat,
body heat and heartbeat because it can track everything like that, which I think is amazing tech. Like I'm such a Kinect supporter, even though I don't use it. But it can tell if you're dead. And one of the rumors before it came out was that it would automatically
Call the
call an
police?
ambulance. Or
I like the idea. Like, I feel like I would be the person where I'd come home drunk, try to
Kinect,
use my
help me.
Kinect, and my Kinect would think I was dead, and then I'd get worried that I was
and
dead.
you just have police there. Or,
Yeah.
yeah, it gives you a warning if you die.
Well, you dead?
Marty, are
It's
you
dangerous.
dead?
Hit
Are
A
you
to
okay?
confirm you not dead.
Well, that said, can you imagine like a future where Kinect has been used as like some kind of household device, and it can be like your levels are too low, like if you need insulin or something like that.
What if Milo launched with a Kinect and he checked to see if you were dead?
It's just Milo.
Yeah.
Want to play? Oh,
Yeah.
dang.
Monty,
Oh, Dad?
are you okay? I'm not good at accents.
no, that was
I'm
good.
very
That
bad
was
at
pretty good.
accents. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
thanks.
not bad. Moving on to games that are actually good. R&D Kinect. We updated our top 25 Xbox One games list. I just wanted to read out the top 5.
Good
because
stuff in here.
This is a really good list. So it's 5 Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Fantastic
I
game.
gotta finish that game still.
I mean, you don't really. Like, the thing is, it's a great game. I think everyone should play it. You don't really need to finish.
I love stealth games. I love to like perfectly stealth an area, and if I screw it up, I reload. So I
Yeah.
probably have 30 hours in that game, and I've
Just doing the
cleared
same
2
thing.
bases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You know?
the best thing about that game, or one of the things I like the most about it,
Like
is
you make the horse poop.
that you can make the horse.
Yeah, I know.
I was going to say
That's
something that's kind of happening with Zelda now is that you can approach everything very differently. So everyone has this like unique.
Story.
Yeah, and it feels like it's happening to you and not to anyone else. And
Yeah.
everyone approaches things different ways. So the stories that come out of that are fascinating.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it does. Like you said, it feels bespoke. It's like, oh, you created this scenario just for me.
Yeah,
This is mine.
This exists on my save file and no one else's,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think that's really cool. I found the multiplayer stuff ridiculous and overwhelming though, but that's a whole other thing. Number 4, The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt.
Why are there so many massive hour-long games?
They were close to
Yeah.
each other last year too.
It's it's funny.
They're really
to go from 5 to
Yeah,
2,
before.
and then one's a little bit different. So it's funny. I led our PS4 list,
Mm-hmm.
and The Witcher is number 1 on that list.
I really think The Witcher 3 is one of the best games ever made.
I haven't played it.
It is
I
fantastic.
played a little bit of it.
Can you play just
need
Blood
it.
and
I
Wine?
haven't played 2 of the games on this list.
I still haven't
Get
finished
out.
Mass Effect. I haven't finished Zelda. Playing Destiny still.
I don't think finishing Zelda is an issue.
I don't think
Mass Effect
finishing
for you
Zelda
is
a thing.
off-brand. Have you
Yeah,
been
I-
streaming that?
No, I just
Okay.
I'm about 50% done, but I have to do all the side stuff now. So I just kind of
You're
want
doing
to
it
do
slowly.
like I'm probably gonna finish it on my vacation.
Well, that's
Yeah,
how you
that's
should
my
play
goal.
Mass Effect, right?
So,
Like
yeah.
Marty and I had a weird experience playing through Mass Effect 1 in that we were doing it for
the
video, so we tried not to do side stuff. And I part of me kind of felt bad because that kind of tarnishes the experience.
Mm-hmm.
But
I might stream it, but it's literally gonna be like I'm probably not gonna respond to chat because this is kind of
Because I'm paying attention. This is a
yeah,
story-based
see,
thing
that's,
the first time
that's
through.
why I never streamed when I had the opportunity to. Is that like I play games and talk about games so much
Yeah.
that the idea that I would do that constantly, like for everything I'm playing for fun as well, seems kind of
Overwhelming.
overwhelming.
I've been streaming a lot of Destiny lately because it's the perfect game. It's just you
'Cause
talking with your
and
friends,
you already know it,
interact
too.
with chat.
Well,
I
yeah.
know the game really
you could
well.
probably you could play that game in your
There's
sleep.
not a
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
hopefully soon there will be.
Yeah,
The teasers have
definitely.
been looking really good. Number 3 is Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I didn't play.
I
I
played that.
finished that one. Really good.
Can't believe you didn't play it.
No,
Sumimasen.
it's because I hate women.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say. Rise of the Tomb Raider is incredible and has only gotten better with the DLC.
Oh, that's right.
It's,
Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga. Shout out to Baba Yaga.
Number 2 is Grand Theft Auto 5, obviously a fantastic game.
Awesome.
I walked by John Ryan's desk today and he was playing this multiplayer level that looked like Tron. And I'm
keep
like,
adding
is this a
free
mod?
amazing
And then I
multiplayer
look down
stuff.
and he's playing it on PS4, and I'm like, oh no, this isn't a mod.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't
That
seen
was 2 DLCs ago, I think.
It's insane, and it looks like it was almost like it was like a turf war, like Splatoon-y thing, where you're trying to take over.
They are doing
there was a
so
Tron
well.
mod
Yeah.
where you could do the light cycle, and I'm like, did that inspire them to actually add it to the game?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Awesome.
When everyone's like, "Where's the single player GTA 5 DLC?" It's like, well,
This
is
is
it.
one of
This
the
is it.
best online worlds that has ever been made.
Yeah.
Like
heists are so fun.
well, it's also just they basically saw that people were using the games as they were using it as a gang and they'd have their own hideouts, and that's why they added that biker DLC that was like, people are already doing this. Why don't we formally facilitate it? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's
It's also crazy that a developer, like, you always think of Rockstar as they don't listen to anyone. They make the game they want to make.
Mm-hmm.
But with GTA Online, it is totally they are paying
They're just
attention to what
observing.
everyone is doing.
Yeah.
And the game is adapting and growing based on that. Which I
I'm
think is
similar to
super cool.
Minecraft, honestly.
Yeah, totally. Which I have high hopes for the Red Dead multiplayer.
yeah.
If they're able to take this, but sort of just transpose it into a Western setting. Although I don't know if like
I need to know more about Red Dead. We only have that one trailer. I'm just like, I want to see more. Like, I'm in Red Dead. I want to know a little bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
the
a
big-
little bit more about the narrative. Not too much.
The big question about that is, Rockstar traditionally doesn't go to E3, but is Red Dead gonna be at E3? Would it be on Sony's stage because we know they sort of have a partnership with them?
I really don't know.
Or are they bigger than that and sort of going to do their own thing? Or is it
Yeah.
actually going to come out in November, or
Yeah.
actually going to come out this fall? Because I still could see that as a candidate.
I could
for
see that
slipping.
one being delayed.
Yeah.
Because GTA 5 got delayed.
Yeah.
And there's a lot there too.
Yeah, it's gonna be a busy fall.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. But slight side note, there was a interview. I don't remember which outlet published it, unfortunately, with Peter
Famitsu.
Molyneux.
it
No,
us?
sorry, not Peter Molyneux. I mean Peter Moore.
Yeah.
Famitsu.
It was basically he said a bunch of stuff about working with Sega, and they made this video that was to show the Japanese what people thought of the Sega brand. And the crux of it is that Peter Moore ended up having to swear at the guy who made Sonic, pretty much, and like that's the crux of it. But
That's really good.
they did these interviews. The point was they asked people to relate like different publishers as family members, and Rockstar was like the drunk uncle that shows up every now and then and delivers something awesome and is
Yeah.
entertaining in the life of the party,
We'll
and then
see
just
in a
kind
couple
of
years.
just kind of leaves through it. I was
I
like,
really
that
like
is
that.
spot on.
Yeah, I really like
and they
that.
said Sega was like your kind of cool grandfather that is cool, but you don't really remember why he was cool
Yeah.
anymore, and that's the reason that the Japanese guys were like, this is false. You falsified this. No one would ever say that about Sega. Sega is a great brand. So Peter Moore literally was like, told the translator to tell him to F off. And he was like, there's no way for me to put that in Japanese. It's a really fascinating interview.
Yeah.
I unfortunately don't remember which outlet wrote it up, but I imagine if you look up Peter
I think it'd be
Molyneux-
pretty funny if it was
You'll
us,
find it.
if this was like an episode of Unfiltered.
Oh, dang.
I think it
Sorry, Ryan.
really could be.
No, it totally wasn't. I really don't remember the outlet, but it was not IGN.
Imagine games.
You see in America.
And then number one, which we have spoken praises of so much, is Inside.
Good game.
I feel like we don't even need to talk about that again. If you haven't played it and you're watching the show,
Just play it.
why?
It's like
Also,
it's a few hours long.
Also, I was about to say, talking about 4 games that all take like upwards, like 30 to 300 hours to play.
I think Tomb Raider you could do in 15, 20.
Yeah.
But Witcher 3 and Metal Gear, they're like maybe
GTA 5. Same.
Yeah.
They could be 100 hours.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I wasn't actually in the meeting for this one. I did have to write the blurb for shout out to Dishonored 2 Game of the Year. How do these meetings go down?
The way these go down is that we create a group of about 5 to 7 editors who
Used to be bigger.
That used to be bigger. Yeah, they used to be bigger. It makes a lot more sense for them to be smaller.
Yeah.
Big meetings can get horrifying.
Oh, people yell at each other.
Yeah,
it's great.
scary.
Yeah.
It's great. And it's people who make sense. So it's like a lot of folks who are on Unlocked are going to be in the Xbox One. Folks on Beyond are going to be in the PS4 one. And then we take a look at what the list was last 6 months ago, because we update it every 6 months. And then we take a look at games that have released in the last 6 months that could be considered to be on this list. And then we take a look at how stuff has aged. So maybe a game that we thought was amazing 6 months ago, you're like, well, is it still? Or open,
outta here, Forza.
or amazing open world games from the beginning of a generation. You're like, well, so many other open world games have come out since that have done better. And so a lot of it is sort of a gut test. It's us looking at the list and sort of being like, all right, I feel like this can drop down 5 spots. Do you guys agree? Like, yes. And then we look at a new game that came out and you're like, how good was Dishonored 2? And we're like, it's somewhere in this range.
So are there a lot of arguments in these ones? Like, because I know
They've
the
got-
ones for
yeah.
me that had the biggest arguments were ranking Zelda and ranking Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
People got upset.
And we're working on top 100 RPGs of all time that's going up in a couple
just-
weeks. And that got into those get into weird logistical arguments over what is an RPG. Like we'll be like,
Yeah.
is Breath of the Wild an RPG? And then we just yell about it.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
kind of
top
wanted
20 usually is people kind of put stuff in tiers.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you argue about the different.
Yeah, you put
tiers.
stuff into
Yes.
buckets and yeah.
That was the thing we had with the Zelda meeting. It was like we had 5, and then we were like, what order do we put the 5 in? And there are some people in the meeting rooms who'll just be like, you are all insane.
Yeah.
Like, you're all dumb.
Yeah.
Like, and then there's part of it is we have these things where we'll be like, okay, the audience is going to be really mad at us for not putting Final Fantasy VII higher, but then there will be 10 people who echoes that who's like, it doesn't matter.
This is
like,
our
we have
list.
to say
Yeah.
what we believe.
Yeah.
Don't think about it. And it's like, I wish that the internet could see what those are like, because they see the list and it's like they think we didn't put effort into it.
Yeah.
But they're so intense.
And the lists do like we put time and consideration into the list, but the lists do
Take months.
and they reflect the people in the room.
They do.
So that is the thing. We are not saying this is the end all be all ranking of a thing. We are saying this is what this group of people thought.
It's not even that. It's what this group of people managed to like democratically agree upon.
Yeah, like
For
a bunch
example,
of
if you had 5 of your buddies, if you're listening, and you
Yep.
got in a room and you picked your top 10 games of all time,
You're gonna argue.
gonna have arguments.
yeah,
about what the
exactly,
top 10 games.
exactly. And like a lot of people, the biggest comment on our PS4 one was why Nier wasn't on the list, and it's like, well, the people in the room
enough people played it.
weren't able to play Nier over the last month because that was when
it could be
Horizon
on the
and
next
Zelda.
one.
But the
and
idea is
Mass
that
Effect-
come the next list, that should be able to shift.
Totally.
And
Yes,
we have
yes,
to manage
yes.
that kind of stuff. I think it's a really interesting process.
absolutely.
Like, I loved my first Game of the Year meetings at IGN because, as someone outside of IGN, there were so many years where I disagreed with
Mm-hmm.
Game of the Year scores or the awards, basically. And I was like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Like, how did this come to this conclusion? And then seeing it in person, like, I wish we could record those.
Yeah, and like
'Cause it's
hearing,
fascinating.
I mean, like last year, hearing the discussion of Pokemon Go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
about
yeah,
whether
that
it was
was
a
a
good
really
game.
interesting
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
That was really tough.
We even talked about it a little bit on Locked.
yeah.
For our
Well,
episode.
of also
We were all
like
where
playing it.
you look at
falls,
stuff
but-
like it's not a good game per se, but it's an incredible experience. And does that
That's such a weird
does that
thing.
add to it? Does the fact that I got to wander around and explore
I
a
met
city
people
and see
because of it?
thousands of other people doing it? Yeah, exactly.
That was a really tough one.
Yeah.
But so this list is up now on IGN.com. We update it every 6 months. Let us know what you think. A bunch of us are in the comments there as well. A quick note before we move on to news is Middle-earth Shadow of War is our IGN first game for April. And there was some footage today.
Yeah, we
the
revealed a battle of, it's not Minas Tirith, it was like Minas Tirith. Ithel.
Thank you, Sean.
I like how I said not Minas Tirith, Minas Irith. I just removed the T. But it's cool because the footage looks way different than anything in Shadow of Mordor because takes place in a large human city.
Yeah.
Like, think Minas Tirith.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it's really cool. I'm excited for this game. We were talking at lunch about how much everyone sort of loved Shadow of Mordor, and it kind of
was
came out
great.
of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I think this is coming out at a good time because this is coming out in August before sort of the deluge of Destiny and
Yeah.
Battlefront. And,
It's a good window for them.
yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
and was it you I saw tweeting about it, Dustin? I don't remember. Someone was tweeting about the updates to the Nemesis system.
No, that was not me.
Yeah, I mean, this one is sort of they're referring to it as Nemesis 2.0, and it seems like honestly, if you compare the first game to the Fellowship of the Ring, especially the movie, and sort of what the battles and confrontations were like in this, it is zooming the lens out and sort of
It's bigger.
just like think of if you could marry the Nemesis system, if you could marry the Nemesis system.
I would.
I would. If you could
If I could marry the Nemesis system and Batman Arkham Games Combat, I would.
I mean, that's what everyone was hoping, that the WB would just be like, this is everything. This is the Nemesis system.
yeah.
Is it like your date life?
Yeah.
Before
Yeah,
you get
just those
married?
two.
No, I wanted the Nemesis system in a Harry Potter game, and I just wanted it to be Mean Girls. Like, I want it to be like the Nemesis system
like
where
bully Nemesis
yeah,
system
exactly.
girls
Yeah,
in Harry Potter. That'd
in
be
Harry
great.
Potter. Yeah,
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Good stuff.
I pointed at the wrong camera.
Yeah, it seems like it's bigger. I don't know how I feel about that because honestly, the way the Nemesis system was felt really personal, and I liked that a lot about it. So I worry that having too many people in it is kind of concerning.
Yeah.
The person I saw tweeting about it,
probably
which is not Destin,
Yeah, not me.
said something along the lines of, "It looks like there are so many people in it that you might never see the same Nemesis again," which doesn't sound good to me. But we'll
I don't know.
see.
I trust them. Like, that first
I
game
did
was
too.
really great,
Yeah.
and WB has done a really great job of building upon foundations.
Yeah, and we'll have more info about that the whole month.
It's so gory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is-
I'm so happy they went that.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
cut off a lot of orc heads.
And moving on to the news, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is finally backwards compatible on Xbox One. Not much.
Black
else
Ops
to say.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the list of white whales that people want as backwards compatible games is slowly shrinking. Like we got Red Dead and we have
Yeah, I
this now.
tweeted at Xbox the other day. I want Dragon's Dogma
Okay.
and Spec Ops: The Line. Those are the two that I really want. And
Crackdown on
Fable
those?
Anniversary.
Original Crackdown?
think-
Is it?
I'm not sure, but there are amazing games on there. Black Ops 1 already is, Red Dead Redemption, Mass Effect, GTA 4, Bioshock, loads of good stuff on there.
A ton of rad XBLA games.
Yep. We still don't have original Xbox games.
Really want that. And I understand it's
Yeah.
harder, and we would have to actually purchase them because
Yeah.
we never had those games digitally. But I think that'd be a really cool.
Be fine with that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a really cool E3 announcement, and that was one of those like when backwards compatibility was announced at E3 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like that got such an incredible
Dude.
pop from the audience.
Did you guys know that was going to happen in advance?
I did, yeah.
I didn't.
Which thing?
Announcing
backwards
backwards compatibility. 2
Oh,
years
I was
ago.
stoked.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I didn't know, and I was in the actual room, the conference, and my reaction was like, because I was just like amazed
Yeah.
by that and so stoked about it because the game library's huge
One of the
now.
dumbest
Yeah.
first world problems of working at IGN is like the surprises are rarely there at E3 for us.
Yeah, and part of it is like last year I tried to have people not tell me about announcements.
But
But
it's
they were like,
also-
"This is your job.
Yeah, it's
you
like literally,
have to
yeah,
know."
we have
And
to
I was
prepare
like,
for this,
"Sure."
yeah.
It was just like kind of sad.
It's fun
about it.
reacting.
Oh yeah,
It
totally.
is.
Like
Yeah.
I didn't know about Killer Instinct.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
super
Yeah.
stoked. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the first time I'd seen We Happy Few was last year, which
Yeah.
like I know
Yeah.
other people had seen that before me, but I was super stoked about that. So we have Xbox Store spring sale details. It's going from April 11 to 17, includes games, TV, and movies.
There are some incredible deals.
Yeah, so we have deals on Overwatch, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Sunset Overdrive, Wolfenstein: The New Order is $6.60. I
that.
tweeted about that as soon as
Buy
I
it.
saw it. Yeah, if you haven't already played that, you absolutely should.
Wolfenstein was free at one point, so if you missed that, you're.
Was it?
I believe so.
No?
Watch Dogs 2 and the Design Lab custom Xbox One controllers are $15 off. I'm going to do that this month. I'm going to get one of those.
You gonna get a custom?
For-
What
How are you going
colors?
to design it?
I like a watermelon. I said this last time. It's green, pink, and yellow.
Why?
I think we have one of those. No, I'm just kidding.
Why?
But
we already
why?
made the
What's your
ugliest
watermelon?
controller,
Why do you like
Alana.
I don't
watermelon?
know. I like that scheme of colors.
Okay, but most importantly, Catherine's $3.
Catherine is $3, and we have discounts on backwards
Pause.
compatible
So
Xbox.
pause the episode right now. Go. You're paused. Good.
It's
Good. Wait, if you're paused, you're not listening to. Oh, dang! I did not plan this well enough. But no, we've spoken about this ad nauseum on the show. Catherine is one of my favorite games of all time. You guys should go.
You know what? I'm gonna go buy that digitally.
You haven't
because
played it
I
yet?
can. No, I have.
Oh.
I played it on my Australian Xbox 360 forever ago. I never finished it. So
playing it like when it was out. I love talking with my friends about the decisions you made, who you ended up.
they
with
did a
at
good
the
job
end.
of
It was
integrating
so
community
fun.
into that.
Yeah,
you
totally.
could see what people
Yeah,
have done.
yeah,
and-
it was really good, like a Telltale game.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
So we talk about those all the time. Check
So
them out.
listen.
And that's not the only Xbox 360 game. Lost Odyssey and the original Mass Effect are as well. Plus some Windows 10 titles, Forza Horizon 3 and Halo Wars 2 on Windows. So check that out while you still can.
Good old deals.
If you're gonna play the Mass Effect games, I really like the EA deal where you get access to all of them basically.
Do you? Yeah. Is that
It's 1, 2, and 3. It's EA Access, EA Play. I can't remember. It's always EA something.
EA
Was it
Access is the Xbox service?
It's a subscription service.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think
I think it's
Access.
Access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remedy, the makers of Alan Wake, Max Payne, and Quantum Break, announced a code name for the next project, which is P7. We don't know anything about it. Persona 7?
Skipping 6?
We don't know
What?
anything about it except that it is coming to PlayStation as well. They previously, except for Max Payne.
So they have
Pain 7.
their last couple games have been exclusive to Xbox and PC
Yes.
since Max Payne 2.
Yes. So this is going to use their in-house Northlight engine, which was used in Quantum Break, which I thought was a very good-looking game.
Oh yeah, it was a gorgeous game.
And-
And so was Alan Wake. They just make pretty games.
Yeah,
But
that's
I mean, totally. I don't know. I think it makes sense in this current climate to try to put your game on as many platforms as possible.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You have noted about their growth.
Yeah, so they had growth of 19.4%
How? Like
last year.
financially?
Quantum Break did really well, and well,
Awesome to hear.
for them, I
Yeah.
think, was the biggest entertainment production to come out of Finland at the time of release, which is pretty insane. I really like that game. Did you guys play it?
I didn't
Which
finish
one?
it.
Quantum Break?
Quantum Break.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got about 40, 50% through.
Yeah, I enjoyed playing that game because the TV was well directed and well acted, and it was
I like the movie parts.
well, it was fun to watch because that's
like
the way
your
I played it.
reward.
Was like it was an episode at a time, and obviously we did that dumb episode of Unlocked with the dramatic
read.
script
The time
reading.
knife?
That was
That
like
did
one of
a
my
lot of
favorite
views.
things I did.
Time
on
Knife was
IGN.
really good.
That was super.
Yeah. That was
Someone
Mitch's last
animated
thing.
it.
Yeah.
That was awesome. R.I.P. Mitch.
Literally good seamless.
So we don't know what the next game is. It's not going to be Alan Wake 2 or Quantum Break 2. It's probably not going to be Max Payne because Rockstar has Max Payne. And we do know that they are working on a sequel to some Korean thing with a publisher called Smilegate.
Sweet.
We don't know what the sequel is or what game that's going to be, but that's one of 2 games.
But they've said that it's a sequel to, quote, one of the most popular games in the world.
No idea.
Which my guess is that it is some sort of game as a service or free to play game that none of us have ever heard of.
That's such a weird thing for them to do.
Developers off the top of our heads?
I mean, Smilegate, they're working with Smilegate, which has
what
made
have they created?
Nothing you've ever heard of. I looked at the list of games. They made this game Crossfire, which has 650 million registered users. And it makes over $1 billion a year.
Yeah, never heard of it. Good stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, I think this other thing they're talking about is separate from this. I think this is the other game they're talking about, which is going to also exist
New
on
IP.
PS4, is a new IP that is going to be more like a traditional Remedy game.
Well, I assume it'll play similarly to Quantum Break.
Yeah, I mean,
because Alan Wake and Quantum Break aren't that different.
No, they both end in ache. I know, that was a great point. But no, I think it's interesting that they've done sort of hard-boiled noir with with Max
Film
Payne.
noir.
They've done psychological horror with Alan Wake, and then obviously they did just hard sci-fi with Quantum Break. So I don't know. I'm not sure what I want from them. It's going to be something cinematic.
Yeah.
It's going to be something story heavy.
Yes.
Probably a third-person game.
I would guess Supernatural. I think that's what they would go back to.
Go back to Supernatural?
Yeah.
I like, obviously, Alan Wake a lot more than you do.
Max
Wake
Payne.
suc's.
It's Max Payne.
It's definitely not Max
time.
Payne.
It would be
I would love a
so
new Max
cool.
Payne,
Yeah.
but
It's
not.
time.
It would be cool if Rockstar gave them the keys to it again.
I guess it's possible.
Yeah.
I love Max Payne. Like I want another one of those games for sure.
I really liked Max Payne 3 as well.
So did I. That's
Strange
one
was
of
a
the few
weird
games
departure.
I finished it and played it immediately again.
Oh, interesting.
I just wanted to play through that game.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
really enjoyed that game.
Same.
Moving on, GameStop's system was compromised. So if you bought anything from their website, this does not apply to in-store purchases. Then keep a close eye on your bank.
Yeah, fun fact. So every once in a while, my credit card company will be like, hey, here's a new credit card. You need to update it. And I'm like, who was compromised this time? Then this story comes out, and I'm like, that makes sense.
Yikes.
Like, I can always correlate it with a video game purchase.
That's
and this
terrible.
time, it was GameStop.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah. And
Good
great.
job, games industry.
yeah. And it sucks. This is mostly just
Oh, Sony.
this is mostly just a PSA. Like if you
Yes.
bought a bunch of stuff or anything on
Beware of
the
You were
yeah,
probably already
GameStop
sent a new card like I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's their statement. They said, the security of our customers' payment card data remains our top priority. GameStop recently received notification from a third party that believed payment card data from cards used on the GameStop.com website was being offered for sale on another website. It doesn't seem like they're super concerned about it. It just says if you identify a charge that wasn't yours, report it immediately to the bank.
Well, I think they're just responding with their boiler template.
I mean, it's probably a thing that's 0.00001% of people who bought stuff would be compromised, but that is enough for a company as big as GameStop to. I almost said GameSpot.
It's super important for them to make this kind of
Oh, yeah,
statement.
100%.
But, hopefully no one's affected.
yeah.
Just keep an eye on that.
I was.
Except for
Womp womp.
Destin. It was just you. What did you buy?
Zelda.
Oh,
I got the cartridge of Zelda, and I
Right.
canceled my Switch pre-order. No, I didn't.
A lot of people got them
Max
through
bought
Amazon,
my
didn't they?
second Switch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was super stoked
Yeah.
because they were apparently very hard to get.
Very, very hard to
still.
get. Are they still
Yeah.
hard to get?
Yeah, they're
I
so
think
hard to
so,
get.
yeah.
I really lucked out by buying Brian's.
Yeah. So because
like-
I want a Switch right now, what I'm doing is I have a habit of just collecting things. I love collecting stuff. So right now I'm trading in games, and I try to avoid doing that as much as I can. I know that I should, but I'm hoping that when I trade in all my games that I have in the US and then go to Australia, trade in more games, technically the same company, I will eventually be able to buy a Switch, I think by the end of the year, if I trade in enough stuff
Nice.
for that $690. So hoping I can get one for
$690?
Mario Odyssey. Yeah, you know how they make jokes about how...
Nice.
Anyway, were you making a 69 joke?
Yeah, I don't know what 690 means.
That's on the meme. It's like, we can give you $690.
What meme?
You don't know about the GameStop memes?
No, I don't know about any memes.
People make jokes about trade-in value being very low. They'll be
690 seems like
so
a good amount.
you'll have like 100 games, and they're like, we can give you $6.90.
I thought it was $690, and I was going to say that's a ton of money. You'd be able
Why
to
is
buy
it that
two
amount?
Switches.
No.
Why is it that amount?
Because
Why
kids,
is it-
it's a low
Well,
amount.
I
and
think
because,
people have changed it, but they made it that amount because it's $6.9.
Nice.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get jokes.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got some questions from the Facebook group. You can find that on Facebook if you look for
Facebook.com/group/podcast unlocked.
And the first one comes from Ian Murphy. Now that some Scorpio specs are out, are out, it's just spelled wrong, and it will improve all Xbox games, i.e. stable frame rate, do you think this will affect what platform people buy multi-platform games on?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I think it's mostly. I think this is going to start impacting things once E3 rolls around and we see what the difference is. It's going to be tough. I think it's going to have less of an impact on big multiplayer things. Like I think everyone who's going to play Destiny 2 has already decided which platform they're going to play.
A lot of people,
Right.
no, not necessarily. A lot of people are doing this, Marty. They're talking like Scorpio's coming out as a group. You're my raid group. Are we going to move to Xbox? Are we going to move to PC?
You have to have those
a
discussions.
lot
I
of
guess
people
the
are
PC
having
thing's a big
a lot of people are having serious discussions
Yeah.
about moving to PC or Xbox
Yeah.
because Xbox is their
you can do
chosen
both.
platform,
Yeah.
and they're like, we don't care about the exclusives anymore. We're going to move, and that's why I say yes immediately to this. I'm super excited to buy a Scorpio. I know I'm getting it. I skipped the S because I knew the Scorpio was coming, and now that it has all the backwards compatibility, I'm like, yes.
So
I
is
cannot
your
wait.
raid group going to play Destiny on Scorpio? 'Cause you have to have all of you.
We talked about going to PC, but we're probably going to stick on PS4.
Right.
Like if we move, it'll probably be to the PC platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I don't know.
I'm curious
For
to see
work
how
reasons, having the access to the exclusive content.
Oh, you need it for sure.
Because I'm like, all right, I can make a video about that and
you
talk
can't,
about it.
can't you probably can't be on Fireteam Chat if you're not playing the
Exclusive
content,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hopefully it's dumb stuff like you get a shader or something. I hope they don't do
Don't
like
you ever say shaders are dumb.
well, they do like full missions and stuff.
Yeah,
and
I know.
weapons right now, and it's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
I hope they lessen how exclusive the content.
Yeah,
I
I
wonder
think
how much they're getting paid.
so much of this is going to be messaging from at E3, both in how Microsoft messages how good the games are going to look, which third-party games they align with, and then vice versa, how Sony which games they align with, and what their exclusivity deal stuff is.
I mean, it seems like an obvious choice to me. It seems like if this game is going to run better on this console that I have, then I'll buy it for that. But then on the flip side, things run worse on the Switch, but if I could have everything on that right now, I feel like
totally. I'm playing
I
Persona
would.
5, and I'm like, I wish this was on my Switch.
That's why I don't have it. I would have bought that game if it were on Switch.
I'm super curious to hear what you think you're on Beyond.
Yeah.
Do you think Sony's going to respond in any way with like their next hardware update a little sooner, like in the next year or two, or is
so.
it Pro for like the next?
I think
4 or 5
Pro.
years?
I think if the next hardware announcement we see from Sony might be VR 2.0, which I don't think would necessarily have to run on a PS5 or whatever, but I think it's going to be maybe a wireless VR set or maybe something that doesn't.
Well,
have
they
the
have
breakout
to
box.
change the Move controllers. That's
Oh yeah,
the big
totally.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm happy regardless that the consoles are now basically at parity.
Yeah.
Scorpio's going to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
But it's just nice that it's going to be kind of an even playing.
I mean, it
field.
seems like Scorpio's going to be a lot of bit better, which is the thing I find most interesting is we're going to have this
All
sort
that
of
RAM.
triangle shift. This like the fact that Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft will be doing really different things. I find interesting.
Look, for me,
They
it's
need
still in the
games.
exclusives. Yeah, I don't care how much better the hardware is. If we have these two consoles, like you were saying, that aren't that different, obviously Scorpio is better. I would still go with the one that has the better exclusives.
Yeah.
That's the thing I care about more than I care
Yeah,
about
and we
hardware.
need to see a lot more from, like, we know State of Decay and Crackdown and Sea of Thieves
thing
and
is,
probably a Forza game are coming.
I'm
We need
always
see
going to
what those
have an
games are
Xbox
like.
because I love Forza.
Totally.
I love
We
Gears of
already
War. I
have
love
Xboxes.
Halo.
Yeah.
Like the exclusives that they have, I love and have loved my entire life.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no way that I'm ever not going to go to that.
Yeah,
platform.
I mean,
but
the
when it
thing
comes
is-
to the top tier consoles, the choice I make is exclusive.
Yeah, and I think they need to grow because I think they already have the audience who loves Gears and Halo. They need to.
you're right.
They need to entice the people who have a PS4 and
Give us some JRPGs.
drippers.
Drippers.
Yeah, we could totally get for drippers.
Yeah.
And then like 4K TVs, I'm looking right now. There's
Yeah.
fantastic ones for like $600.
Yeah,
We should maybe like put together an article about that, about like if you want these consoles, which TV is going to help you the most. So
Yeah.
we do have this gorgeous 4K TV in the office here.
that's really nice. A bunch of people have bought.
4K
Like
HD.
Altano bought that same one. Caleb bought that same
It's
one.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great TV. I
Big
played
pairs.
a bunch of games.
It's like $1,000 now, I think.
That's
Like when
pretty
Ryan
good.
bought it, it was really pricey, but
yeah, it's
it
gone
came
down.
down fast.
That's definitely a factor for me. Is like what I still have a 1080p TV,
Yeah.
so it's like I don't know. It's a weird choice to make, but I think the option to upgrade is always awesome, and it kind of feels similar to the iPhone market right now. Like you have the choice to upgrade if you want to, but you don't have.
Scorpio reminds me a lot of an iPhone update, not in a bad way.
No, that sounds like so insulting. It's a slightly better mobile device.
I don't know what this is about the iPhone.
It reminds
I
me-
want my headphone jack back.
I mean,
That's
yeah.
the thing that makes it.
I want my
valid for
Kinect
me.
jack back.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
dang. Justin 8 said, "What movie are you looking forward to most in 2017?" His comment was Thor 4.
No, my comment was Thor.
Oh, that was you.
yeah. Anything in
What's
bold
so good?
is my comment.
Thor does seem pretty good.
He fights his friend from work.
Yeah, it's great.
We saw that
That
trailer
line is
yesterday.
so
It looks
good.
really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't
I
seen
love
it,
that
watch the Thor
director.
Ragnarok,
Watch his
yeah.
other movies, What We Do in the Shadows.
We Do in the Shadows and Hunt for the Wilder People.
The Thor in that trailer is very much like the viral roommate video.
That was really good. Yeah.
Personality wise.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
what he
I
said
like
is that
this
Chris
Thor.
Hemsworth is apparently really funny, and so
Yeah.
he was like, "Why don't we just
Let's lean into
make him
this."
funny?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm totally down with that. If it's like Guardians level humor, then
Yeah,
I'm totally
totally.
cool with that.
Yeah,
Aside from that, what else is coming up?
I'm excited for all the Marvel stuff. Guardians
Fast,
2,
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious 8, Spider-Man Homecoming. We're
I'm
about to get the
probably
Last
most
Jedi
excited
trailer.
about
There's a
Spider-Man.
new Star Wars, right?
I mean, I think
That's
we're going to see the
gonna be
Last
the
Jedi
big-
trailer in a couple of days, and I
Yeah.
think that'll put Baby Driver is coming out, which is the new movie from
Of course, the Boss Baby came out.
Boss Baby did come out.
Did
yeah.
very well somehow.
Yeah, no, Edgar Wright's new movie. He did Scott Pilgrim and Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead.
cool.
Oh, sold.
Yeah,
Awesome. I love the way that they edit those movies. It's awesome.
Boss Baby Driver.
So what one are you looking forward to most? Got to pick one.
I'm going to be Spider-Man.
I mean,
Spider-Man.
we'll see. In 3 days, it might be Star Wars.
That's true.
Like once we see that Last Jedi trailer.
we haven't seen anything.
Once
You're
we see the Last Jedi trailer.
Could completely change.
Yeah.
How about you, Dustin?
Fast and Furious.
Nice.
But it'll probably switch to Star
That's-
Wars because I'm
that's-
going to see that this
that's
Yeah, I was
Friday.
about to say.
Sweet, though,
So,
isn't it?
yeah,
it's out on,
That
it's
beta's
out in like
out.
2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So this
right.
episode will come out, then my answer is going to change.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one said
Um,
Justice League. I'm excited for Wonder Woman.
I am too. I'm just worried about how they've handled the DC line.
Oh
That's-
yeah, they've been bad.
know.
No, I've just.
I hope they fix
I've
it.
given
I
up
want
hope.
them to.
Yeah, Wonder Woman looks cool though. She's a wonderful woman.
I'm not really a fan of that.
Is this still
guitar
the is this
theme.
still the woman thing? You don't like Lara Croft?
I just,
you don't like
I just hate women.
you don't like Diana Prince, the wonderful woman?
Yeah, no, you're right.
I saw half a Suicide Squad on a plane, and it wasn't as bad as I thought people made it out to be.
I saw.
I felt the same way because I didn't see it immediately and was like, okay, this movie is
Like
not
it's gonna be
good.
terrible. Oh,
It
it's,
wasn't as bad as I expected.
I saw it with a good drunk.
You
I
saw
didn't
it
enjoy
on day one.
Yeah.
So it's like I had. Oh, sorry, just
Why you
punched
hitting
the
my
microphone.
mic?
I
Is it
had
because
a,
it's a woman?
it's because it's a woman. Classic me. Next question is from Jeremy Rint, who said, "Favorite video game box art."
I put some thoughts down. I really like Fable 1,
Yeah.
which is sort of the reflection of
Yeah, yeah.
as a child and adult and good and evil. I think the Lost Chapters is the good and evil one, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah, I also put down the original box for Eco for PS2 in Japan, which is a very minimalist, pulled back shot of Eco and Yorda running across the landscape. And then I put Resistance 3, which was by Ali Moss, which is really good, and also Firewatch, which is also by Ali Moss.
Firewatch is really good cover art.
Yeah.
It's a tough question because I don't remember that much stuff.
for a long time, every time I saw Mass Effect on the shelf, I'm like, oh, I want to buy. Oh yeah, I have it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
yeah, why
don't
do
buy
need
it.
this?
I really liked it because I just like the vibe of it. And then like there's actually a variant that was released in Japan, I believe.
Yeah.
Where it's slightly different.
Yeah.
And it's equally as cool.
Yeah.
You know what?
in a
I
different
bought
way.
the first Darksiders because, I mean, it's the kind of game that I
Comic
love.
art.
But no, the art is actually on the cover of the 360 case. Was silver and shimmery. So if you would tilt it, it would.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
I
it was like
remember.
shiny. I was
Oh,
a
I
huge
totally
fan of
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, yeah, the comic book art. Joe Mad is like one of my favorite
I had
artists.
the Halo 2
writers.
tin case because I think I got
I
the
had that
collector's
too. I
edition,
had that
and it was
too.
like really simple. Like I thought it was a lot better than because a lot of like AAA box art is kind of garish, and there was a whole like that string of guy with gun and back to
Bioshock
camera
Infinite.
and woman. Yeah.
I don't know if you'll remember this, but you might, Marty. The Legend of Zelda box for Nintendo, it was like gold, and you
Yeah.
could see through the slot that
Yep,
the
yep.
cartridge was gold.
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
were
that
like,
was really cool.
"What?
Yeah.
All the cartridges are gray.
I,
It's
I,
not
I
supposed
love
to
the
be
way
like
that it looks with my 64 cartridges lined up, and there are two of them that are gold, and it's Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's cool just like even on the shelf, I'm like, I know what those two are.
Yeah, and I had a yellow Donkey Kong 64.
So did I.
think that's
Yeah.
the only. I think
Yeah.
there may have been like a red Pokemon.
Did you have the green N64 with bongo drums?
No, I somehow only I was able to get through
had
with
the
a
Pokemon
launch
Snap.
with a launch 64. I just
Yeah.
had a boring ass black 64.
I skipped the PS1 and 64 era. I didn't have the money, so
Yeah.
I would play at friends' places,
Yeah.
play GoldenEye, stuff like that.
was a good-
But-
that was
Yeah,
good
it's
for
crazy.
him.
A lot of people have nostalgia for 64 games, even though they didn't have a 64. And
Yeah.
like, I love that most of those are now on
Last
replay.
Corpse.
Yeah,
It rules. Like,
Yeah.
God, that's such a good era for games.
Yeah.
Jason Sutton asks, will the Xbox One controllers still work with Scorpio? The answer to that is yes. They aren't releasing a new controller alongside Scorpio or anything, so you'll be fine on that. We had a conversation on our Scorpio episode, if you missed that, about whether we want controllers packed in or not, because a lot of us already have multiple of them. So
Yeah, I'd be if it shaves $20 off, I'd say you can have
get
your
rid of it.
controller.
Yeah. Adam Gumbit, what is your I have 30 minutes to waste game right now?
I have two:
Go on.
Zelda
Mm-hmm.
or Destiny.
Zelda works really well
So hard to
because
put down.
Zelda works really well because
I played on my
just
purple.
you can pull your Switch out and you're immediately wherever you were.
Yeah.
And like Zelda is a thing you can play for 7 hours, or you can spend 20 minutes in that world, do a thing, get a Korok seed, get to the other side of the map, and you did it.
No, I'm really bad at putting Zelda down.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we know.
I understand.
We're
I
aware.
don't think I can do 30 minutes.
Totally
What
understand.
if you have to?
I don't think I can. I think that I would be like, all right, I have 30 minutes to spare. Obviously, I'm not going to play Zelda because I will lose the entire day.
That's not good.
No.
What else is a quick game that you could just play a match or?
I don't really have an
accomplish
answer
something?
to this
I
question.
know a lot of people treat Overwatch that way.
Yeah.
Hop in, play around.
Yeah. Zach Ryan was talking about how he treated Witcher 3 that way, where
Wow,
he would jump in, be able to do something, and then jump out.
There is a lot to do.
But it also
Like with
it's-
Mass Effect, it takes me like 2 hours just to be like, all right, I'm in this world again. I remember the characters.
Yeah,
Let's go do
yeah,
a thing.
Yeah.
It's always a tough thing.
I don't think I have an answer to this. I think I have an addictive personality, and 30 minutes
You absolutely
with
do.
the game is not good.
That's not great. I mean, I feel like most handheld games, a lot of JRPGs, if you're in the grindy mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am like that with Pokemon a lot, but I haven't played it in a while.
Too scary?
Yeah, just too
Haunter
scary.
Gengars?
Yeah.
Did you know
really
Gengar
good.
is the same height as Danny DeVito? Canonically.
Really?
It's true. Yeah.
In the Pokedex?
Yep.
Brilliant.
I believe it's 4'11.
The 30-minute thing, the designer's Destiny, I was interviewing them, and they actually said they designed stuff so like you can hop in and feel like you accomplished something in like a
That's smart.
short span
Yeah,
of time.
Titanfall 2 was really good like that as well.
Like you grind out your cards or
A
whatever.
lot of open world. Like, I felt that way in Watch Dogs too. I would go in, do some side
Yeah.
quests, and pop
Oh,
out.
GTA is great like that, but every time that I put it in, it has updates. It's like
Yeah.
I'll want to play it and be like,
Yeah.
updating 2 hours. I'm like, damn it,
Yeah.
man. So I just decided to permanently leave GTA 5 on my Xbox now. Like every time I have to make the decision to uninstall something, GTA 5 I will
update.
always keep. That and
Yeah.
Fallout, I'm like keeping them in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fallout.
If I know if I get rid of
Rainy
them, it's
day.
going to take me 5 hours to put them back on. So
yeah.
I just keep them there.
I finished Fallout with a few different endings. Still haven't done like the master really hard to get ending where you actually do it with what's his name who keeps bugging you.
Yeah.
Preston Garvey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like
That takes
I
longer.
just don't think I play games in this kind of way, but all right,
Good
next
question.
one. Natalie Hines. You think Project Scorpio will keep the Scorpio name?
Nope.
No.
Not a chance.
They can't go with Pro though.
Xbox
I
Pro?
can see Elite, the Xbox One Elite.
That's too confusing with the controllers.
I don't think so. I don't think anyone's going to get confused with that controller.
Wasn't
Xbox Pro, yo.
Xbox
Pro,
Pro
yo.
sounds pretty good,
But you can't.
I
Sony
like
already did that.
Yeah, I really don't know what it'll be, but it will not be Scorpio. Almost.
But
no
I think
way.
it will
Xbox
stay.
X.
I mean, they've already said it's a member of the One family, so I don't think its name's going to deviate too far from Xbox One.
Xbox One Pro.
I mean, I don't think you can call it the Pro because you have the
Xbox
PS4
One
Pro.
Pro.
The
I
Xbox
wouldn't do
One Pro.
Xbox 1.2 or anything
No,
like that.
Yeah. I don't
It's
know.
Xbox
That's
One
tough.
360.
I'm trying to think of
I
like
don't
of other brands and what they do for that kind of thing. Like Xbox One.
64.
Obviously,
It'll be
we've done
Xbox
S.
something, right?
Super Xbox. Xbox 164.
Super Xbox.
Xbox DS.
Sold.
So Marty,
Yes.
it'll have Xbox in the name. Will it have one in the name?
I believe
Is
so.
that what
I think
said?
Yeah,
so.
I think
So
if
it'll
they're
be
all in the same
Xbox
family.
One something.
Yeah.
Xbox One Master System.
Well, because the Slim is Xbox One S. That's
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
marketing term. So it could, in theory, be Xbox One.
X.
I think Pro,
Box One X.
I'll
Box
do
One
Pro.
X.
Pro makes the most sense, but it's tough because Sony did it.
because they could align against the PS4 Pro though.
I think it's going to be the Elite.
You want the PS4 Pro, Xbox One Elite? They've used
What's
that.
better than
They
a
used that for
Pro?
the 360.
God.
God.
Xbox One God.
Xbox One.
Xbox
God
One.
mode.
There we go.
Xbox One CEO.
We figured it out. Eric Sean Riley, what IP do you think Xbox should bring back? I would love a new Perfect Dark.
Oh yeah.
I love Perfect Dark, but I didn't play Zero.
You're fine.
I didn't want to actually, but I love the first Perfect Dark.
Joanna Dark's awesome.
Are these your list? Perfect
Yeah,
Dark,
mine is.
Fable, Crimson Sky.
We've talked about this before. These are all awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's such a wealth, especially on the original Xbox and stuff like Rare owns, that there is so many IP like rife for them to bring back in some interesting way.
Oh, Cameo.
Well, they could do Banjo.
Yeah. I mean,
Banjo, yeah.
I think Rare.
They're Force Gemini, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Rare seems like they're kind of busy with this pirate game.
They are kind of busy with that
Yeah.
pirate game. Get
Yeah.
someone else to make it.
Sure.
It's fine.
Who?
Platonic.
Maybe that's the Remedy game.
Maybe that's right.
What if-
Banjo.
I don't
What if
think
the
we're gonna
next
see
Platonic
Gemini.
game is just a blatant Jet Force Gemini thing? Like,
I would be so down
yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Lupus and Velar and
Space Team Venus.
what's the man's name?
Juno.
Juno. That's it. Yeah, that game ruled.
Yeah.
Um,
Why? What's the man's name?
yeah, I also hate men.
Oh, what? You
Yeah,
just
men
like
and women.
Lupus.
Lupus is
Dog.
great.
Yeah.
Huh?
He comes a tank.
How about you, Dustin?
I mean, it's on the list. I couldn't really think of anything from the 360 I want them to bring back. Most of
Yeah.
the stuff that I really wanted, they have back.
Yeah.
So
There was
yeah.
there was a rumor going around this week.
Donkey Kong Country.
That BioWare Austin's going to be working on a KOTOR reboot. Yeah, so a single player, old school Star Wars RPG which obviously that wasn't well, it was an Xbox exclusive, but I would love that.
You have Jade Empire on here? I don't know, man. I don't know if
Jade Empire, but
it'd be cool. I just doubt it.
my fear is that if I go back and play Jade Empire,
Well, I
it's
doubt
really
Perfect
racist.
Dark. Oh dang.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Perfect Dark would be great for them to bring back. I don't know why they just like gave up on it.
How do they bring Perfect Dark back?
It's been what, 10 years?
I mean, especially
It's been a long
since
time.
you're like a spy.
longer
I mean, it's been
than
the launch of
that.
360.
Yeah.
About 10 years.
Just rebrand it. Like come up with new, like what we want
Just
for
call
Fable.
it Perfect Dark. is
Yeah.
The thing.
Yeah.
But
it's
also, like, you can. I could feel like you could design levels in Perfect Dark the way levels in Dishonored are designed, to where you're a future sci-fi spy agent that has so many tools at her
that
disposal.
Perfect Dark doesn't exist now because it's technically in this era cheesy, whereas what it was in the 90s was current.
I think it needs to lean. Did you guys ever play No One Lives Forever?
A Bond game?
No, it's heavily inspired by old Bond things. It was, I think it might have been developed by Monolith, who are doing Shadow of Mordor or Shadow of War. But it was you played it. It was sort of like 60s inspired spy shooter where you played as this like female agent, but it was very much like a serious version of like Austin Powers era spies.
Okay.
So like there's no Splinter Cell, right?
Yeah.
What if Perfect Dark became their Splinter Cell basically?
That'd be
I think that'd be cool.
cool.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I want cool spy stuff.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening, but we can dream.
Yeah.
Nick Kaufman asks, favorite non-gaming podcasts?
I put this one down because I listened to a lot of non-gaming podcasts. 3 I wrote down were Harmontown, which is a comedy show by Dan Harmon, who is the creator of Rick and Morty and Community. He is one of the funniest, smartest
about
humans I've ever listened to. Listen to that, super funny. My Favorite Murder, which is a show about serial killers, and each episode is profiles a different serial killer throughout
That
history.
kind of stuff is fascinating.
Yeah, and it's these two like hilarious female comedians from LA who have like the best rapport with each other. They're incredible. And then S-Town just came out, which is from This American Life and the Serial Team, and it's a 7-part story about a guy in Alabama who is one of the most fascinating people I've ever heard, and sort of every episode of the show you think you know what it's about, and then it transforms into something else. Very good.
Cool.
Radio Lab isn't on here.
Radiolab's incredible.
Yeah.
I've literally never listened to a podcast.
Yeah,
You got to check out.
she's never
any of
listened to
these.
a podcast.
I have never listened to any.
You should listen to Unlocked.
Don't have time.
Radio
on
Lab's
it.
You- what are you talking-
fantastic
you-
because of how much editing is put into
Yeah.
it. They do sound bumps. They jump
Oh,
around
that's
in the
cool.
story.
Yeah.
Like they are talking in the studio, then they jump to what happened. Like when they actually did the interviews,
Mm-hmm.
they must take like a year to develop a story. Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
spend a lot of time on each story, and it really shows.
I like how you
all
say you don't have time to listen to them. Like, I don't sit down and listen to podcasts. I listen to them in transit. Like, you have a commute to work, right?
Yeah, but I usually read. So it's like if I have to make the choice
You.
between the two, I would read a book.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's fair.
so we have a different commute. I walk to work. I'm not going to read and
Sure.
walk because that's
Yeah.
a foolish thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, I could listen to podcasts or audiobooks at the gym, but I feel like listening to music is more motivating. So that's like,
Yeah.
No, not if you're listening to murders, because you're like, I got to get strong so I can fight off the murders.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
I'll give it
But
a
then
shot.
you're like running, then you're like, oh, what? What happened? Oh my God.
The weird thing is listening to a comedy podcast while you're like running or while you're like, if you just start laughing in the middle of
Oh
something.
yeah, I was doing cardio the other day and I watched Steve Gaynor and Sean Vanneman streaming Resident Evil 7,
Yeah.
and I was on the bike and I just had it sitting on the bike and I was watching them on Twitch and kept laughing, but I was like doing
Yeah,
cardio.
it was weird.
I was like puffing and
girl's
laughing
a
every
weirdo.
now and then. It was
Yeah.
like, this is very strange.
Yeah.
Like I'm aware this looks dumb. To the marketplace
Nailed it.
report. Destin,
Yeah.
what do we got?
Bulletstorm full clip edition. That is available. Duke Nukem does some voices in there.
We had that
Adds a
whole
new element.
G2A. What is it? The website G2A.
Oh, yeah, the GTA thing. That was weird.
Whole disaster.
That was weird.
What?
I don't even
Yeah.
know how to give a synopsis of that.
We'll get into it
I
next
encourage
week.
you to look it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, Yooka-Laylee, $40. Marty reviewed it. We talked about it recently. Crawl, $12. You wrote down roguelike brawler indie. It's like pixelated.
Yeah,
And
looks cute.
really unique.
Yeah.
MX versus ATV 2017 official track edition. That's $40.
Yeah.
And Arrow, which is $15. It's got an 83% of Metacritic. It's like a shooter. You're in a ship and you fly around and
vehicle.
shoot stuff. It looks cool.
It looks, it's very pretty.
Yeah.
I don't really know exactly what it is. It looks like it's on rails and you shoot through a kind of, the world almost reminded me of Recall.
Yeah.
So it looks really cool.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
Marketplace, much requested add to backwards compatibility. Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Also, Elder Scrolls Online is completely free to play this week. So if you want
Traveling
to check
sim
it out,
Yeah.
I
go
might do
for
that.
it.
And it's all the same games of gold. I got the wrap up because
Yeah.
we have guests coming in and we need to leave.
Oh, do we? Getting
Rise,
Kicked out?
get Rise, Rise Walking Dead,
All
Dark
right.
Darksiders, AC Revelations.
All right. That is it from us this week. Ryan will be back in a couple of weeks. I'll be back in a couple of weeks. So look after
Maybe I'll
the
be back in a
show.
couple of weeks.
Marty and Destin will join you next week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.